Hello again, friends, and welcome to the world of Exoprimal. Humanity has recently developed a slight reptile problem, and in order to deal with this thoracic terror, humanity turned to the most practical and reasonable solution of all: sick-ass exosuits. Now, before we go any further, I need to give a controversial opinion on the exosuits in this game. If you don't like it, you're not welcome here, although I will accept orderly and civil discussion in the comments. Now that I'm left with only the elites, we can continue. Warriors known as exofighters are humanity's greatest hope for survival, and they're run by Ibius. Because doing your job is hard, Ibius created the AI Leviathan to handle the testing and development of new exosuits. Unfortunately, Leviathan has an autistic obsession with the dinosaurs and fled an island with them, killing millions, and putting the island in lockdown. 3 years later, you, an exofighter with some form of Tourette's, crash land on the island where Leviathan uses interdimensional time travel to force you and thousands of others into a series of never-ending war games, all so it can collect that sweet, sweet combat data. Now we're trapped here. Not just our character in the game, but me sitting here playing it on my PC. Just slightly addicted. On the surface, the gameplay appears really simple. 5 exosuits versus a horde of dinosaurs. But what makes Exoprimal so unique is the second team of 5 exosuits. Competition breeds excellence, so Leviathan pits the two teams against each other in a race to finish the objectives first. And let's just say it pays to be a winner. Now, let's take a moment to really think about this situation. These people are just like you and me, trapped here to fight against our wills. We should be working together to build each other up and fight against this cruel system. However, they are highlighted red, and therefore leave me no choice. You can view both teams' mission progress at the top of the screen, but honestly you don't really have to look. Leviathan will make sure that you know how well you're doing compared to the other team.
You are completing objectives faster than the enemy team. You are completing objectives slower than the enemy team.
Both teams operate on separate dimensions, but merge together for the final mission where you can attack the enemy exofighters directly. Just make sure you only do so when it actually benefits you, because at the end of the day, only the objective really matters. I'm looking at you. During this final mission, both teams will be awarded a Dominator, which lets you take over a big dino to use on the enemy team. Now, this is your chance to get back in the lead if your team is getting shit on. So, no pressure, but don't blow it. I love the competition aspect of this game and would probably be less addicted without it, but I don't want less of an addiction. I want victory. My team is a squad of elite exofighters, and the other team is a group of bumbling fools, and I'm going to prove it. You can also level up your exosuits as you play by unlocking and improving buffs that fit your playstyle. I like doing this because it gets me excited to try out a new suit and then mold them into a bigger and better mass extinction event. Something else this game does really well is escalation. There was a point where I was starting to feel like the game was getting a little too grindy. Literally the next match I played, they introduced the Carnage module, which literally just spawns in 1,000 raptors. And just like that, I was hooked back in. As you level up and unlock the story, more mission types will start appearing with harder challenges, eventually unlocking the boss fights where both teams become one and you all fight this Shin Godzilla-ass T-Rex. A feature that I both like and kind of don't like about the game is whenever you play a match, you don't know what you're going to be up against. You don't know what challenges you're going to be facing and what the last mission's going to be like. This is cool because it adds some variety and you're not going to be playing the same thing over and over. But I'd really like to be able to choose to fight the big-ass T-Rex as many times as I'd like, and not just rely on RNG for that. But enough about all that. Now that you know the situation, it's time to learn the hardware. Exosuits in this game are broken up into 3 categories: Assault, Tank, and Support. The first of the Assault type exosuits, Deadeye, is the vanilla option. Simple, yet a perfectly respectable choice. My favorite thing about playing this suit is closing my eyes and activating his ultimate. I don't really know what it does, but what I do know is when I open my eyes, there's a lot less movement. Also, nice legendary skin. Zephyr is your #1 producer of Dino Filet. What this suit lacks in range, it more than makes up for in power, and makes the gameplay like it's Devil May Cry. But a word of warning to any aspiring Zephyr mains. With great DPS comes a great responsibility to try and solo the enemy team. Scientists have discovered that every great Zephyr player has an overwhelming sense of desire, nay, of duty, to rush balls first into enemy-controlled territory. This urge becomes even greater the further away you are from your team. Please never change. I am a Barrage main. I like the other exosuits, but they lack a little flair. No, but really. I'm gonna single-handedly incinerate anything that is even remotely scaly. My job as a Barrage main is performing mass cremations, and every day I go to work with a smile on my face. As Barrage, I can not only spam explosives into crowds of dinosaurs, but also place some down before they even spawn in. That's an awful cool Dominator the enemy team has. It sure would be a shame if I had a functional Z key. Vigilant is a deadly sniper. Firing her rifle without scoping makes it a burst fire rifle, and firing it while sighted in makes it a high-powered charge. Her two abilities are best used in combination. Step 1, freeze your prey. Step 2, make them watch helplessly as your power shot charges up. Step 3, profit. Getting into the tanks, we're starting with Roadblock. As Roadblock, your civic duty is to cosplay a traffic jam. To be a good Roadblock player, you need to stand in front of the team and press the right mouse button. And congratulations, you're now carrying the team with the strength of Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, buddy! Wait! Yeah! Boo!
The most profound moment of neuron activation you should experience as Roadblock is when you press your ultimate key. The team relies on you to hold off a tidal wave of reptiles from ravaging their squishy, fragile bodies, until your shield breaks, at which time you switch to Plan B. Beat the piss out of anything not highlighted blue. You may not feel like this is the most engaging gameplay in the world, but as a DPS main, I love you. As Krieger, your job is not so much to protect the health of your teammates, but rather to delete the health of your enemies. If something is moving on your screen, I suggest that you take that as a personal insult. You play an essential role in the Exofighter ecosystem as an anti-air system. I personally really appreciate this as a Barrage main because, frankly, I'm sick of looking stupid. Let's get down to brass tacks. You play Murasame because you're a weeb, and that's okay. People can make fun as much as they want, but at the end of the day, katanas are still really cool. Just remember that you're a tank first and a DPS second. And what I mean by that is first, tank a bit of damage, and then second, do a bit of DPS. The most important tip for PvP I can give is to please leave me alone. Witch doctors have got to be my favorite species of goblin. Huh. Goblin these When you're not saving your foolish teammates from a death that was likely gonna be their fault, you take time to pursue your true passion. Poking shit with the ritual taser stick. Jokes aside, I may mock you for your 4chan-esque posture, but without you, my legendary Barrage skin would look a lot more like this. As a Skywave main, it is your duty and right to look down on your inferior teammates. I mean this both in a sense of superiority and as a matter of positioning. Can you really say that you enjoy Skywave if you've ever been on the same eye level as your inferiors? Your attacks can both heal your team and harm anything else. Your abilities mainly focus on confusing and halting enemies. Just one more blessing to the ants that scurry beneath you. I need to apologize for some dishonesty on my part. Nothing I've said so far, but what I'm about to say. Nimbus is a really good exosuit. That much is true. The dishonesty comes in is where I'm gonna sit here and look you in the eyes and tell you that that is the reason I play her. Nimbus dual wields guns that switch back and forth between two modes. One's for lovin' and one's for hurtin'. You also have an overclock ability. Just make sure that you're in the correct mode when you use them, or else you'll end up looking like a dumbass for trying to heal a pack of raptors. Overall, I think that the game is really good, and has a lot of potential for it to get even better. One of the main reasons I wanted to make this video is I've been seeing a lot of poor reviews for the game, and I genuinely don't understand why. I understand that maybe it would be because $60 is a lot to pay for a game, but you know, relative to a lot of new releases, it's pretty good bang for your buck. Especially if you have Xbox Game Pass, you can just play it for free on that. Well, I mean, you gotta pay this. Fuck you! Don't fucking question me. One thing I hope they capitalize on is the missions where both teams form into one big team of 10. Working with that many exosuits at the same time is a really fun experience, and they need to do more stuff with that. Generally, like, more difficult raid-style content with the bigger teams. I know I touched on the story very briefly, just trying to give you an idea of what's going on here. But I really love the story, and they went a lot harder on it than you would expect from a game that is just, you know, beating the shit out of dinosaurs. As you play, you unlock more pieces of the story, which just, in the beginning, you know, it's just asking you more and more questions. You're like, what's this? Who's this guy? What's going on? But eventually, some of those questions start getting answers, and this bigger picture forms. It's one of the better stories for games that I've seen recently, especially in the way that it makes you unlock it. I'm not gonna lie to you, there were a lot of nights where I probably should have gone to bed so that I could sleep before my job. But I was so close to the next cutscene that it's, you know, you hit that find match button one more time. I think the game is really being slept on at the moment, and I hope this review can encourage more people to try it out. I also hope that you enjoyed watching this, and if you did, why not stick around for a bit?